get into my first topic of weekend in the association, and that is my boy, Mr. Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic, right now, currently, as it is going on, after just having a crazy couple weeks at 73 points the other week, he currently is averaging uh 28.4 points per game, shooting 46.9 from the field. He is also averaging 8 rebounds a game, 8 assists a game, and he has got this team. And I think they made one of the most stealth trade deadline moves of the deadline last week. Kyrie Irving is finally back from his injury. He's been cooking. The Dallas Mavericks have won 4 in a row. They are 30-23 at the 8th spot, and they are a half game out of 7. They are a full game out of the actual playoffs right now. 2 games. They're really all in the mix right now. They are only like 2 games out of the of the 5th spot right now currently. So big shout out to them, and I think that getting the additions of Daniel Gafford and also getting PJ Washington, both those guys had 35 points combined over the weekend against the Oklahoma City Thunder. I think it's time to start talking about Luka getting the MVP push here. I think that with Joel Embiid being eliminated from the race, obviously because of his injury, we talked about this last week about who are going to be the top candidates to get in the MVP race. And everybody brought up Shea. Pat brought up Shea. I said that Kawhi Leonard should get some looks. Of course, Giannis is always going to be in the conversation. I really think that if Luka and them continue on this win streak, they can get, 8 to 9 games in a row, that this is a guy who can be able to do it and get that MVP consideration. Now, granted, he still will have a lot of to compete with the Thunder and Shea, obviously, because they're a better team right now. They are the number 2 seed in the Western Conference. But this is something right now that I feel like could give them a real good chance to actually get into that race if they can keep this up. And nobody, of course, the NBA is just dying to give Luka the MVP in this particular time with everybody being hurt. Bang, I'm gonna go to you. I don't know how much you've been paying attention to the NBA or not, or Luka, but what you think about him having a chance to maybe get this MVP?
Definitely just one of those situations where it's like, all right, a couple of players ain't gonna win it, mainly because they ain't gonna play they ain't gonna play enough games. So it's definitely probably shy of Luca's award for the taking. In the way that he's blitzed, he's blitzed the league, especially with that 70+ point performance. It wouldn't be a shock with certain people being out, But I am interested in seeing what the Clippers do. Like, can Kawhi keep it up? If he keeps it up, if they could get and keep that number 1 seed, do you put him in there? Is Shy somebody that we're going to continue to have to look at? It's Man, I feel bad saying this, but it's just gonna be a war of attrition to see who plays the right amount of games in order to win the MVP. And Luca plays all the time, so it wouldn't shock me.
Dante, I'm not Dante, but my bad, Mikey, you are a gambler man, the king gambler here. What you think about Luca play? Do you think he can be in this MVP race?
100%. I think you sold them short, man, with the historic run he's on. In his last 10 games, he's the first player ever to have 300 total points, 100 assists, and 100 rebounds in the last 10 games.
Damn.
Yeah, I saw
Shit.
that stat. I saw that stat the other day come across the ticker, and I legit text my homie, and he's like, "Bro, I just sat the fuck up in my seat reading that. Like I had to rewind it." So he's on a historic run. Um, this is the perfect complemented team for him. You got spacing on the floor. You got guys like Gafford that'll rim protect, rebound, crash out. PJ Washington can knock down the three. I seen over the weekend that there was some personality concerns over Grant Williams and how he fit in that locker room. So they had to get him out there. I think this is Luka's best team. His odds to start the season, they were probably, he had some good money. You would have dropped the 50 spot on him. You would have won a couple hundo. Now I think he's third. He's, the third favorite. You have Jokic, you have Shea, and then you have Luka, but the odds aren't too far apart when it comes to SGA and Luka. So I think this is an amazing team. Another person that's been hooping has been Kyrie. So I wonder if he continues to have some kind of the performances he's having, if that takes away from the Luka voting, and it's and it skews more towards SGA, since he's really the only proven commodity on that OKC team, though. But what Luka's doing is special, and he's must see TV every night, and he will play tonight. So,
Dante, what you think about Luka? You think he got a shot at this MVP?
Yeah, he always have a shot because his numbers are always there. It's just a matter of what the Mavericks are able to do in the win column. I know Joker has kind of changed the precedent a bit, so they don't necessarily have to be barely a top 4 team, but if they can get to stay in that top 4, sneak into the top 2, 3 with his numbers. I think that Shea, like you said, Shea is probably the number 1 contender with Embiid going down, but he'll definitely be in the conversation. It's just a matter of how he does, from the team standpoint, which, he has no control in that to a certain extent. But basketball is one sport where one player can affect things more than, any other sport. So I think Luka, he'll definitely be in the conversation by the time the year is over.
That paper on this player haters, old news, money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna